Developing right now, Hurricane Idalia is taking aim at the west coast of Florida, and it's expected to gain strength before it makes landfall tomorrow morning. Taking a live look at Key West now, you can see the wind is really whipping at the waves in the southernmost point in the continental United States. That flooding has already started in Fort Myers Beach, and now the storm is expected to intensify into a Category 3 hurricane with winds topping 110 miles per hour before it hits the Gulf Coast. The forecast calls for a storm surge up to 12 feet. At least 15 counties in Florida have already issued mandatory evacuation orders. We have team coverage of the hurricane and the impact that it's having here. Let's start with Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly for a look at what to expect over the next few hours. Bill?
Well, good evening, Jess. Good evening, everyone. Over the next few hours, intensification will continue as this storm works to the north at 16 miles per hour. In fact, I want to start with that. Here's the latest. This came down at 5 o'clock. We're going to get another update from the National Hurricane Center at 8 o'clock. Those storm planes are out. The recon planes are flying into the storm. They're getting the observations, and then, of course, they'll get that to us. Winds at 100 miles per hour. We got gusts to 120 from this storm, and it is offshore still. It's 195 miles southwest of Tampa, but those rain bands, those outer bands are going hundreds of miles, up 300 miles away, so it's already being felt in spots. Here is the latest hurricane track. By tomorrow morning early, 2 o'clock in the morning, 115 mile per hour sustained winds and all this rain, and this is making a beeline right for the corner, the north central corner here of Florida, approaching essentially Tallahassee, just off to the west of there, to the east of that. There's Horseshoe Beach. In this area, you talked about that storm surge, a remarkable amount of water going to be rising 10 to 15 feet in many spots. This will then continue tomorrow afternoon to work to the north, decrease in its intensity because it's over land, not over warm water, which is what these tropical systems need for all that energy. But the forecast still calls for 85 mile per hour winds and widespread rain throughout South Georgia, up through parts of South Carolina, as this tropical then storm by Thursday morning races offshore and starts to switch to a little bit more of an easterly direction, not impacting us directly. It is going to move off. But I do want to show you quickly the storm surge map. So there is the storm itself. When we're talking about storm surge, look at all these colors. I'll take you specifically up into the area where it is expected to make landfall, and there is a 10 to 15 foot forecast for a wide-ranging area, and it will depend on where that system ends up. Off to the right-hand side, the northwest corner, the right-hand side, the northeast corner of that system is where the biggest surge is going to occur. So we're keeping a close eye on that, give you another update on it, and of course our local conditions coming up in just a few minutes.